Hello, everybody, and welcome to this timely fit. We are talking about a topic which scares 99% of people because it is so unnatural in the world that we're in to break up with a client. And we are talking about how exactly you do that. Now, I've got a really special guest with me today. It's Jay Chapman, who's a senior coach at ZING, the ZING project here in Australia. And before I get into a little bit more about Jay and a bit into the topic of breaking up with clients, because that's what you're here for, just in case this is your first time, my name is Alex, and your exits are here, here, and here. No, I'm kidding. My name is Alex, and I have been with Timely for about 4 years now, and you would see me on here quite a bit because I do a lot of education for Timely on particular topics, anything ranging from breaking up with your clients to how to use the stock functions in Timely. So we've got a lot of education videos that you can watch, and we've also got a Facebook group called the Timely Community Hub, which if you're a customer, you can jump in there and chat with me and a whole bunch of other customers and staff about using Timely if you need any help. So without further ado, that's me, and I do like to start with a fun fact. So a fun fact about me is that I have two Yorkshire Terrier dogs. They are tiny little teddy bear animals, and they weigh about 2 kg each. So when I was younger, I was the biggest fan of Paris Hilton. I didn't end up getting a Chihuahua. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I'm still a big fan of Paris Hilton. Didn't end up getting the Chihuahua, but I did get the Yorkshire Terriers. So that is a little fun fact about me. Now, I've got a pretty fun guest with me today, and Jay Chapman is known for his sense of humor, but I will give him a little bit more of an intro than that because he is a man full of experience. So Jay has been in hairdressing for 17 years, was a salon owner for 14 years, and still is a salon owner. In fact, he's coming from his salon today. That's where he's zooming in from. And a really cool thing about Jay is that he, after all of the ups and downs of hairdressing, he decided to become a coach, was taken under the wing of Lisa Conway, and has been a senior coach for Zing for a while now. And he's worked with over 100 salons and spas and clinics to basically help them get better at doing business so that they can have a business, get out of the operation at themselves, and actually have a life, build a team, build fantastic team culture, which he's a specialist in. And I think that's probably why it's so perfect to have Jay on here today with me, because breaking up with clients and getting rid of people who make the salon a gnarly space to be in is part of what makes amazing salon culture. It's part of having that really good salon owner backbone that everyone needs. So welcome, Jay. And what is your fun fact, Jay?
Oh, my fun fact. What could be my fun fact? Well, I think I might change my mind with my fun fact because I've got two Italian greyhounds, which are like your dogs, but bald, pointy, and on stilts. And their names are Elio and Giuseppe, Italian names.
Oh.
But the fun fact that I do like to share, because it doesn't actually fit when people meet me, is that I know how to drift a car, and I know how to drift it well. But I don't do that with my kids or the dogs in the car, I promise. So
I went to high school with a lot of boy races, and can I just say that drifting is hot.
drifting's hot. I'll send you a video.
It's so hot. It's so hot. Yeah, I really do want to see this video. And aside from being a pro drifter, you are pro at breaking up with people. Now, this is in your business as a salon owner, but also in coaching. So this is something that you know how to do. Is it something that you enjoy doing? Is it just something that when you have to do it, you just know how?
When I have to do it, I know how. And I think I'd actually be quite worried if I worked with someone, they said, I love doing it, I can't wait for it, I look forward to it. I think we don't work in an industry of psychopaths and narcissists. Yeah. I don't think you ever get to a point where you enjoy it, but I think you can get to a point where you're better at it. Yeah. I don't think you ever nail it, because the challenge is that people can be unpredictable and people don't react how you want them to react 95% of the time. But I think that there's certain strategies and things that that you can implement so you can do it easier than not. So Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a whole lot of people in the hair and beauty industry are people pleasers by nature. That's why they work in the industry. They want to make people feel good. And breaking up with someone, I mean, you're literally probably about to make someone feel bad, which is not ideal, but sometimes you've got to do it because they are just not a fit for your salon. And there are so many reasons why you could want to break up with the client. Like maybe they're rude, maybe they always turn up late, maybe they no-show a lot, or they're never happy with what you're doing, which I can imagine is probably one of the main reasons why people would be broken up with, that or not paying or whatever it may be. Why have you broken up with people in the salon before?
Racism. That one was pretty easy.
Yeah.
So racist conversations that a client wasn't prepared to stop having out loud because that was her right. And I definitely won't get into nitty gritties. A client that wanted to put her bill on account. We didn't have an account service. So basically, she just didn't want to pay for her hair on the day. But there's been a few clients that we've broken up with because of how they speak to us, the team. I've broken up with one of my team members' clients, so someone that I've never looked after before, because I didn't like the way that she spoke to the team. It was disrespectful. So I think it's like anything, even in personal relationships, that there comes a time when you have developed and built relationships with people where your values start to align, and you seem to attract like people. However, when you're selling a product or a service, you attract people from all different walks of life with different values, different beliefs. It's actually a matter of time before you come across someone that you butt heads with. That's the reality.
It's
So
the
I
nature
think
of the business, huh? I mean, even if
100%.
you can't like, and sometimes you will just be like, when magnets just completely oppose each other and you're just never going to be friends. Sometimes that happens, and maybe you've got a big salon and they're not even going to work well with any of your staff.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's inevitable that it's going to happen, and I think some people will be watching the replay or watching this live and thinking that this isn't really relevant to me right now. Oh, it will be. It's a matter of time. It really is, and that's not me being negative. That's me being a realist. There is going to be a time when you're going to have to divorce a client, and I think it's like anything. You can be studying something in high school, primary school, university, and think, how on earth is this going to be relevant to me right now? But promise me, just keep watching, keep watching the live. Don't drop off halfway through. Watch it all the way to the end, because this is going to be a skill and a conversation that you're going to need to have at some point in your business career, and to have that skill set. I always think of it like a little briefcase that you can go out and go, oh, there it is. This is how I broke up with a client the easier way. It's so important to have that under your wing.
I think that, as well as the fact that if you are going through a situation, maybe you've got a client or maybe a few clients that you're feeling like, I feel like I'm always looking after them. It's never making me happy. It's always making me miserable. I'm always stressed. It is not your legal responsibility or government sanctioned or godly responsibility to look after a client. If they don't mesh for you for whatever reason, whether it's literally whatever reason, like, it's good to have a good reason, but if just something between you two is not working and it's making you feel uncomfortable, you don't have to look after them. And sometimes just having that conversation with that client is necessary. So don't feel bad. It does happen to, I'd say, every single salon owner has had to break up with clients, and it's really common in the industry. And when you break up with this client, it means that they get to go somewhere else, and maybe that next salon is the perfect fit, and it allows you more space to get more clients who are perfect for you. So there is a win-win once you've done it. But Jay, tell me, how do I do it? I'm not sure. Let's say I'm coming to you. I've got a client. She's never happy. whether I'm a salon stylist and I'm always cutting her hair and she's never happy, or whether I'm a lash technician or a beauty therapist and I'm always doing services for her and there's always something that I've got to fix. She was complaining, always commenting on what I'm doing. I know the relationship isn't working for me because I feel like I'm not good at my job when I look after this client. How do I break up with her?
So the first thing that I always like to consider is, how would I like to be on the receiving end of that conversation? I think putting yourself into someone else's shoes and seeing their point of view. And it's like, I'm sure your mum or your nana would have said, what's that saying? Treat those who you would like to be treated, blah, 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 whatever the saying is. And I always think about that. How would I like to receive this information? And this is only a personal opinion of mine, and I am a little bit flexible with it. I prefer it to be face-to-face. I prefer to deliver it face-to-face, but I would also prefer to receive that information face-to-face if I wasn't the right customer for someone. So wherever it is possible, I believe you should allow the time at either most likely the end of the appointment where you can have a chat to the client. Okay. So I always think it's nice to give them the benefit of the doubt. They might actually change. That day that you've got them booked in, they might not answer the phone. They might be respectful. Okay. So give them the benefit of the doubt and talk to them at the end of the service. Now, when it gets to that point, what I've done in the past is I've said, after ringing up the till and doing all the bits and pieces on the point of sale system, I actually invite them out the front. I think it's completely neutral territory. It's not in their house. It's not in my business. I like to take them out the front and say, do you mind if just before you leave, I just want to have a quick chat to you about something out the front. And that's where you deliver the message that you're not sure whether you're the right fit for them or not. Okay. However, where I am flexible is if the client is an aggressive client, if they've exhibited some behaviour or said something that's really upset one of your team members or yourself, you can do that on the phone beforehand. I don't like anything written. I don't like text messages, emails. I don't think it's appropriate. I always say it needs to be dialogue, not monologue. Monologue's one way. You need to have a conversation with these people. It's respectful. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person. You're just not a good fit for them, and vice versa. Okay, so, but if you don't feel comfortable having them in your salon, call them before the appointment and let them know. Okay.
Just like what you were saying there, Jay, I think taking it outside, like it's not like, come on, let's take this outside and, let's have a spat. It's more on the fact that particularly if you're in a salon with a whole bunch of other people, if they are going to get upset or angry, they're not in the salon around your other staff members or your clients. But another thing is, all of a sudden, when you as a service provider are outside of the salon, you're more of a person than just the robot in the salon who just takes it and takes it and takes it. And you can speak eye to eye and say, whatever it is, for A, B, or C reason, this isn't really working for us anymore, whether it be a financial burden when they just don't show up, or whether it's always making you late because they're always late, or whether they're never happy and you're never going to be able to make them happy and you really want them to find someone else who can do it first try. Whatever it is, you can be human to human. And I think that's I love that how you're saying it, Jay. It is the dialogue rather than monologue, and you can be human about it.
And I think also when you're writing something in a text or an email, that people tend to have a higher sense of self and confidence and ego than if they're having a conversation. Like you can receive a message and really tailor your answer, and really fight for your right. Whereas when you're having a conversation like this, FaceTime, Zoom, face-to-face, phone call, you don't have that half an hour lag time where they can really come back. It's a real conversation, and that's what it should be, a conversation. But I think that there's another thing that You can drop the bomb. You can say, I don't think we're a good fit, and you could find another salon. You're going to catch them offside. I think, there's going to be more a chance that they want to come back from that and go, what do you mean? Like, I'm shocked. So there's ways of gently approaching that conversation. It's called a pre-frame. So what a pre-frame is giving them a bit more perspective on the situation. So a pre-frame could sound like something along the lines of, so what I wanted to have a quick chat to you about is, how, throughout your life, friends come in and out, relationships come in and out. You buy a house, it's not a good fit anymore, so you buy another house. You outgrow your clothes, you outgrow cars, you outgrow restaurants, you outgrow your flavour for certain wines. So sometimes there's just not a good connection, not a good mesh. What's the chance that we're not a good fit? So you've pre-framed, you've kind of butted it up, you've told a story, you've given them a bit of a frame of reference, and then you say, what's the chance we're not a good fit? Because sometimes I feel like I can't deliver what it is that you expect from me. Okay? So you're not just going in and saying, bomb, there you go, there's the bomb dropped on you. You've given them a little bit of more something to work with. And a pre-frame works regardless of whether you're breaking up with a client. It could even be that Alex has been coming to work and her hair looks rubbish. So look how beautiful your hair looks now. Like, it looks stunning. You've obviously tonged it and it's freshly washed and whatever. You must have had this live scheduled in. So, whereas, I could say to you, I want to have a chat to you. Like, look at your hair now. You're photo ready. Your makeup looks beautiful. The tone of your jumper looks fantastic. Your hair's fresh. You put in a lot of effort, I can tell. And that's the benchmark that we're after. We want photo ready, which means I can grab my phone. I can say, get in. And you don't have to go, oh, no, not today. We want to hold that standard here. Yeah. However, sometimes I don't believe that you're photo ready. True?
Yeah.
Whereas, now, I could say, let's go out for dinner, let's go out for a drink. And you go, sure, no problems. Okay. So there's a way of delivering a crap message framed in a certain way, whereas it's not as controversial. It's not as, doesn't feel as prickly. Okay. So think about how you could deliver the message with a pre-frame. Okay. Tell a story.
I think that's fantastic. And it's a nice way to kind of get them on board and talk about the fact that, like, yes, you can talk about it from, like, how you can outgrow a car and something isn't right for you anymore. Like you said, what's the chance that we're in that situation right now? Because I can tell I'm not making you happy, and it's I'm never getting things right the first time with you, and I really have a high expectation for customer satisfaction, and I'm not able to do that with you. We've had quite a few goes at this, and I don't feel that we're the right fit, and you would definitely be well suited to another stylist or another person who's able to do this right for you the first go, and you can just walk out, like you said, Jay, photo ready and happy each time, because that person is just far more suited to you.
Absolutely. I was actually on a Zoom session with a new client today. She's a timely customer. True. We were talking about this topic. She knew that I was doing this live feed with you tonight. And she told me about how she recently broke up with a client because the client would bring her children to the appointment and they broke two $40 testers in the reception area. And she had to draw the line because she was doing quite a high-end invasive treatment on this client. And she had to let the client know that, unfortunately, her children weren't welcome at that appointment anymore. It was disruptive to the team and the other clients that were having treatments done. And for that particular service, it was dangerous. Okay? And the client didn't like it. And the client decided, after years and years of service, that she would go to a salon that was children-friendly. Now, while I was waiting to get on the Zoom with you, I actually was going through an Instagram story, and I saw a hair salon in Melbourne that had a kids' corner. And I said, oh, this is fantastic. This is great. And I said, oh, this is fantastic. 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 And I said, oh, this is fan with a
Mm.
gate on it.
Okay, good.
With a gate, which is fine. There's salons for everyone, but it
Oh,
wasn't
this
a good fit for this salon owner.
there so is, and I have seen situations like this exactly. Like, for example, a client basically who was always coming in late or came in early, never stuck to her appointment time, always was saying, "Can I book in now? Can I book in now?" Never wanted to book in advance, and the salon owner said, I don't think that we're the right salon for you because we need to book things in advance here, and our schedule is really strict, and this is something that we need to keep to. So late or early, trying to pick a random time doesn't work for us. What I think would work better for you is a walk-in service, just because that's going to be better for your schedule, and we're not going to be able to book appointments for you in the future just because we need to draw a hard line here because it's really affecting our schedule, and this has happened too many times now. But we wish the best, and we know for a fact that this is going to be a better option for you. And I loved that because it did give the client an option without giving them a specific salon, because I know some salon owners have passed clients onto a different provider before, and the provider's gone, "Why did you pass me, Karen? Thanks for that. She came straight from you, didn't she?" So do be careful about passing people onto exact places if you know them well. But like in a general thing, I guess you could say there's a really fantastic kid-friendly salon that I heard about on Facebook recently. Definitely check them out. I feel like they're going to be more appropriate for you.
Absolutely.
And I find this really interesting because what we're talking about here in reality, and you have said this to me before, which is that, yes, there is some people who are just not a good fit for the salon. They could be rude, they could be racist, they could be never happy, and you could just not gel with them as a business. But there's a whole ton of reasons, such as being late, being early, not showing up, not paying on time, paying late, having always doing everything like that, which can be part of a salon policy, and you can use that policy to protect you. And if you're serious about that policy, and like you've said to me, Jay, 90% of client breakups can be avoided if the client knows about the salon policy. And this can stop things like, for example, breaking up with a client who then gets really upset, fights for their right to stay, and you're like, "No, sorry, it's not going to work." That possibly could have been avoided. Before we talk about how to deal with the bad reviews, because I want to save that little gem to the
Yeah,
lucky last, just in case and
absolutely.
when they do happen, I do want to talk about the things that you can do in salon with a salon policy, and with things such as deposits, which can be like what's it called, a booking fee, which can be non-refundable, and how these things can minimize having to break up with clients in the first place.
So I think the first thing is, as a coach, my job is to deliver a message in a way that absorbs into people's minds, so that they really have a deep understanding of what it is that the information that I'm imparting with people. And a big part of the coaching process is repeating yourself, because part of my training, I learned that people on average take in about a third of the information in a conversation. Okay, so when you've got a new client booking online and they need to make a $50 or 50% deposit, and there's terms and conditions, and they might get a text message or an email that reminds them of their booking policy, they're really only taking in bits and pieces of that information. So I think there needs to be an element of repeat, particularly for new clients. If they come into the salon, you need to give them that opportunity to have a really deep understanding of, these are our boundaries, these are our expectations. This is what we will deliver, but this, as a client, this is what it looks like if you no-show, cancel within 24 hours, whatever your policy is. So I think prevention is always better than cure with anything, but particularly with this. So I think if you're having trouble at the moment with clients cancelling last minute, no-shows, because that's actually a big part of breaking up with a client, is get in early, set those boundaries early. When they're a new client, make sure that they hear it loud and clear. A lot of our coaching clients, they have information about their policies and their expectations as a client in their new client welcome packs. It's a perfect time to go through it with a new client. That's a topic for another day, one that I love.
I think that that's a really cool idea though. If you do have a new client, or if you are putting in a new policy because you're finding that, your no-shows or you've got a lot of customers who are doing this to you and you feel like you need to break up with, 30% of your client base basically, it might be a good idea to set up some salon client packs for your new clients, but also for your existing, whether you let them know by phone, you can do an SMS campaign, or if there's particular offenders, giving them a call and saying, look, these are our new policies, we really need to stick to them, giving you a call just because you have no-showed a couple of times, and this will now be the policy. So you can do things like that. As you said, prevention, far better than cure.
Absolutely. So, and I think, if I ever chat to a salon owner and they're having this challenge and I say, what have you done about it to prevent it? And the answer is usually, I've got a sign-on reception desk, and we've put a couple of posts on social media. You can have a look at your stories. You see how many people see your stories or engage with your posts. What was that hair flick, Alex? So I might feel like
I've just done my do you know what? This is all mine and I'm very proud of it. But
well done.
I know, thank you. I slept on it last night, so it's more voluminous than usual, and I'm trying to get it out of my face. No, sorry, I'm not trying.
Same.
I'm just having a very glamorous moment over here. Not that you can see me, because you can only see Jay when he's talking. I'm just doing it in the background. Jay's just looking at me, looking like some legally blonde person.
Absolutely.
But I do think that I love prevention better than cure, and I know what you mean there, because it's the same thing. You can't say something just once and then expect people to just understand it. You need to talk about this. I would even say, if this is something that's affecting your business a lot, maybe even put it on your story or put it in your do something big about it so everyone is aware of it. That no one's been missed. Maybe even if people are coming in on a daily basis or coming in a few times a day, depending on how many clients you take a day, you can just say, oh, just so you know, we have changed our policies on these things. It's not affecting you today because obviously you came on time, but just in case you do need to cancel, please cancel outside of these times. And if you no-show, then we are taking a 50% of the appointment, which is paid at the start or prior to the appointment. So you've got things like that.
So I think with the technology being able to do text message campaigns and email campaigns, that's incredibly powerful. You can touch hundreds or thousands of people in your database, and you don't need to just send out an email blast with, this is our policy. It could be sandwiched in other information. And when you do your fortnightly or monthly or quarterly newsletter, make sure that message is in there every single time. So like when you buy ads for TV, you don't buy one ad, you buy a block of 50 or 60 or 120, because people need to see that message multiple times before it really sinks in.
That's so true. And in terms of, things sinking in, that's actually a really good segue to the Google reviews, because Google has this thing where you can say the last word and you can just let that simmer and let that sink in, because that's kind of like the drop mic on a bad comment. Now, this is something I found out from Jay, basically, which is that someone writes a nasty review or comment about the fact that they've been broken up with, if it does come to that on Google, you should reply. Even if it's on Facebook and they can reply again, you should be replying. And thoughts there, Jay?
Well, I think majority of the time it's a waste of time to try to get it removed. Very difficult to get a 1-star review removed. It's actually what it's for, is people that have had a bad experience. But I think we need to think about the fact that if you've got 50 great positive 4 and 5-star Google reviews, this is one. We say it's the hole in the donut. Someone gives you a donut, you don't go, oh my God, there's a hole in this cake. Why did you give me a cake with a hole in it? You just go, oh, donut, amazing, thank you. I shouldn't be eating donuts. I had a chocolate donut last night.
Good on you.
Yeah, thank you. It was stale, actually, from the supermarket. Wouldn't recommend, whatever, as long as it wasn't moldy. Off track. So, I think that the thing is when, again, putting yourself in a consumer's point of, in a consumer's shoes, is if you were to come across a hair or beauty salon that you were looking at and you saw one Karen in the mix of the other lovely people, would you go, oh, that's a bad salon because they broke up with that client? Or whatever happened that they always exaggerate in their 1 star review. But people don't see that one review and go, "Ooh, I'm not going there." Okay? So I think that is really important. But absolutely, I would reply. They've won. They've won if you don't reply. But it's also your opportunity to correct any information that they've inflated.
Mm.
Okay? So it's your side of the story. So I'd even remember what you say when you pre-frame. We outgrow people, we outgrow husbands, we outgrow. Like, look at Elizabeth Taylor. She married the same bloke twice. She thought, oh, maybe it wasn't that bad. I'll go back and I'll marry him again. I don't know which one he was. It was about halfway through. But
There were a few.
so look, write that. Google the Elizabeth Taylor story. I don't care, but and tell people it wasn't a right fit, and I believe I respectfully told you that for whatever reason this wasn't a good fit. However, and this is what I do, personal preference. I put my personal mobile number in there.
Mm.
If you'd like to discuss this further, I'm the salon owner. My name's Jay Chapman. This is my personal mobile number. Send me a text and we'll set up a time to chat. I'm more than happy to chat to you off Google. Okay? Never once had anything like that ever amount to a phone call. They don't do it. They just want to be on their soapbox and have a whinge. So your reply is very important. Yeah.
I think that that's really cool as well. Like, most people, I don't think they're going to publicly say that they've been broken up with, because I think it's a little bit of a
Yes.
it's a little bit embarrassing to kind of say I was broken up with because I only, turned up late once. And it's like, actually, you turned up late 3 times, which put the salon in a bad place, because then we were in total an hour behind in appointments, which means that people need to stay late, and doesn't work for us that way. Also, just had a comment in the comment section saying Richard Burton, was that Elizabeth Taylor's husband?
Oh, yes, it rings a bell. I don't know, but I'm going to leave that up to you to Google, and you can tell me.
Yeah, no, I'll need to. I'll need to. Well, I think
Good on her. Good on her, I say.
I think that I feel like we have given a fair amount of advice here in terms of when you need to break up with a client, how to do it, and just a kind of a last word on when you should do it, where that line is. That line of breaking up with a client is different for everybody. It's different person to person, culture to culture, even religion to religion, area of Victoria to different area of Victoria. Everyone has a different bar which they stand and that they keep, and some people it's lower and higher. So if you have a salon and some of your staff, maybe they feel disrespected a lot easier than others, and maybe some of them will just keep on taking it and taking it. And like you've done for your staff before, you've broken up with clients for them because maybe you saw something going on that you didn't like. You need to set that. You've said to me, Jay, that you really need to let your staff know this is okay and this is not okay. This is what you can come and talk to me about if you think that something's not going right with this client, and this is just a bad mood client, and they're fine, they're just a bit moody, and that's all.
Well, I think it is. It actually paints an important message to your team that you're championing them. It's not always the client that's right. Sometimes they're wrong. And if they're disrespectful, your team's your tribe. They're your work family. You need to respect the fact that they're giving you 38 hours, up to 38 hours a week of their time to work in your business. And it's their right to feel safe and secure. Like, they shouldn't have to be nervous because Betty's coming in at 2:30. I just think it does show a deeper respect to draw that line in the sand and say, no, there's certain behaviours that we absolutely will not put up with here. Okay? And I think the main thing that you need to remember when you're breaking up with a team member, loved one, friend, family, whatever, but in this case, client, is say what you mean, but don't be mean when you say it, because your tone is everything. So if you go in with an aggressive tone, you're giving that client permission to bite back at you. Okay? So kill them with kindness. You know what Nana used to say? You make more friends with sugar than you do vinegar. Okay? So use that. Sprinkle a bit of sunlight on them and tell them that there's a hairdresser or a beauty therapist out there that's a perfect fit for you. I just don't believe it's me. I think you're number 3 on the line. I'm like Elizabeth Taylor. You know, you kill them with kindness and humour. Okay? But I think that there's no nice way to do it. But it really is about the clients that you choose not to work with that'll make your business great. Okay? Not the clients that you choose to ignore your boundaries and your values and tell your team to suck it up. It's not a good look. Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I actually think that that's so perfect. I can't say anything more perfect than that. You've just, I don't know. I feel like you need to drop some sort of mic there now, Jay, because that was just. Do you have an imaginary one?
I
Can
don't.
you drop it?
I've got a pen. There we go.
Perfect. I feel like we needed that, because that's just. I think that's some just really solid advice there for everyone to take and kill them with kindness. And you know, sometimes you do have to do this, but you don't have to be mean about it. You can just be like, you know, this isn't working for us anymore. And I can tell you're not happy. I'm not happy either. You know, you and I will be so much happier if we both go write our own different unicorns, or whatever you want to say. Get off my unicorn, get on a different unicorn.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is. I don't know where I came up with unicorns, but maybe it's because I feel a bit unicorny in this color.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really hope that this advice was helpful for you. We will see you next week with another Timely Fit.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the invite, and thanks for your time.
Oh, bye.
Bye-bye.